Hello beauty squad, it's your girl TeeTee. Welcome back to my channel of all things life, love, and beauty. It is my favorite, absolute favorite day of the week, and you know what it is. It is Martini Monday, which means it is time to talk relationships, love, just girl chat, girl talk. Because I don't think it's enough of it taking place these days. But today's topic, as I told you last week, is I'm going to give you 7 items that I think we women expect from men in relationships. And I'll elaborate, on some of them as we go through, but they're interesting things, and I write everything down because that's what I do. And I'm going, okay, this I think is fair. It's definitely fair. I also hope you guys are staying safe too, so we can get through this madness that is taking place outside of our comfortable homes as of right now. But we're going to get into this Martini Monday, what women expect from men in relationships or marriage, or a combination of the two. Should be interesting, and I would love to hear your thoughts, and your comments have been absolutely great. I love them. My hair is looking crazy because I am in the midst of taking a natural hair journey, which should be interesting. And I just did a video on it and documented that, and I'm going to link that video. I am someone who has never done anything to her hair, but you'll have to watch the video, and I will definitely link that video. But let's get into Martini Monday, and let's talk what women actually expect from women in relationships. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's get started on what women expect from men. And don't worry, I will list all of the makeup that I am using below as well too, because some of you guys have asked that, so I will definitely do that. And these are in no particular order whatsoever. But I will say, for a lot of women, this is probably a big one, and it's safety, or feeling safe. And it's not in a sense where, he's going to get into a fight for you or over you or anything of that nature. To me, that equates to, if it's cold outside, he'll give you his jacket to wear. Holding your hand, walking on the outside of the sidewalk. To me, hold on to him, because a lot of men know nothing about that, and that says a lot too. Holding your hand and walking on the outside of the sidewalk, as they should do all the time. And when I think of safety, and I think of Chocolate, my husband, he makes me feel safe in a lot of different ways, and some of those 3, the jacket and the holding hands and the walk on the outside, even though sometimes I have to tell him, but he always gets it. And you want to feel safe in a sense that I knew if, and I've told him this, if we were going someplace and we were on a plane, and the plane was, God forbid, something was going to happen, he would make me feel so safe, because I could hear him saying, TeeTee, everything's going to be okay. And he would likely grab my hand and make me feel as if everything was going to be okay. And I would believe him, and I would trust him. And that is a level of safety I think we all should feel and get to in our relationship, because that is something that to me is very, very important is feeling safe. And some women look at safety in a means of monetarily and all that. No, to me, no. And I say that because I was a very independent woman when he met me, and I was for a majority of my adult lives. And I've always worked and been able to provide for myself. And safety to me meant those three things, and not so much as monetary, if that makes sense. Number 2, honesty and trust. And those are a given, and they are expected at the same time too, and they go hand in hand. Some people get one or the other. Don't take one or the other. They need to go hand in hand, and you need to get both, because without both of them together, you really don't have anything if you don't have that. And breaking down even further is be there. You know, you want him to be there when you need him to be there, right? And you know, be there when I need you or she needs you. That's what you want, and that's what we expect, hands down. And another thing is, don't let a man get away with telling you that he's going to do something and he doesn't do it. That, no. And that is not being able to trust a damn thing that he says. That falls into that category to me, because your word needs to be good. And I will say, Chocolate and I, we definitely try to live by that, and because you want to, because that's honesty and that's trust. And if you don't have that, you're in a lot of trouble. But hash it out, talk it out. When things don't go right, that is that opportunity to capitalize on that. Number 3, she or I expect him to carry himself and our relationship very well. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. That he should be proud of you. He should be proud to have you on his arm. When you walk into a room, a party, whatever the case, he should be like, this is my girlfriend, my wife, you know, whatever the case. Because don't get me wrong, married couples get to a point where it's just routine, it's normal, and nothing is exciting anymore. And you really want to try to avoid getting to that point if you can. And I understand it probably is a challenge at times, and I get it. But he needs to be proud of all times. And I tell Chocolate, my husband, all the time, as I've said to most men in my life, I am the star of this relationship. There's only room for one, and I am it. And he's like, okay, I'm totally good with you being the star. And as he should be, and as we should be. Don't settle for anything less. All right. Number, 4. Women like to feel important. And that goes back to the previous one, number 3, is being the star in the relationship. And setting priorities for that relationship, and having the understanding that that person should come first. I know this is not even, but it's going to work today. That she should come first, or he should come first. And those are the vows that you take, and you should definitely adhere to and live by those vows. Number 5 goes without saying, communication. Communication is key. If you don't have it, or you don't talk enough, and Derek and I, that's his real name, are no different sometimes. Sometimes we don't talk enough. We really don't. And you get to a point where it probably will explode, and you don't want it to get there. And sometimes I know he gets mad at me for things, and he definitely, if he doesn't say it, he'll text me and say it. And I'm okay with that, because I know that Derek is very emotional and passionate, and I know that he likes to get things out, and he'll verbalize a lot of things too. But then at the same time, he'll just get it in a text, and he'll say a lot of things right away. And I can definitely appreciate that for sure. But and I'm okay with that, because sometimes you're at work and you can't always pick up the phone and talk, and I'm okay with that too. It's just a lot of our talks, our conversations don't always circle or hover around text messages. So don't think that having an adult conversation about your relationship should be in a text message by any means. But it may start there, but it doesn't always in there. Number 6, and this is something that age old, right? Is we hear all the time. Men a lot of times don't mature until a certain age, and that is true. Sometimes men don't grow up until they get to a certain age or point in life, and it can be frustrating dealing with a man-child, as people call it. And I totally get that and understand that. And you need to be able to have a mature conversation with your spouse, your partner. And if they're constantly joking and just laughing things off and brushing things off, that means they're not taking you or the relationship seriously. And you're at a point where you probably need to reevaluate that relationship, what you need and what you want from it. And we expect both parties involved to communicate effectively, again, because if you don't, it will just snowball into other things I think we are just not ready for. And I would say, yeah, it's true. Some men don't mature until they're 40, 50 years old, which is why you'll look at a guy who's 50 and like, oh, he's distinguished, he's this, all that. And sometimes they're not mature. Men still play games. And some men only, and here's communication too, they only want to communicate with you via text. Like, damn it, pick up the phone and call someone, call me. And just their conversation, if they can't hold a decent conversation with you, they're just not there yet. And again, you then have a decision to make as to whether or not this person is somebody you want to be with in the long run. And number 7, the last one, which is always a good one too, is quality time, and what the definition or what you define as quality time. And quality time is sometimes quality time is what you make it. Quality time is when you are with each other for a significant amount of time and you enjoy each other's company. It's not just, oh, let me run with you to the store. Okay, I spent time with you and I'm done. No, it's hanging out, it's talking, it's watching a movie, it's watching a TV show. And so what we do is, so there's a trade-off, right? There's that compromise, right? And quality time is, and now I love crime shows. I can watch them all day, every day. ID Channel, Law and Order, CSI, you name it. I can watch all of it. Derek will watch some of that with me, or some of the other shows that I like. I don't watch reality TV a lot of times, but even though I do like 90 Day Fiance, we'll spend a good amount of time watching that together, talking about it, and we'll talk about other things in the midst of that. The flip side to it is I watch a lot of shows that he likes. Street Outlaws or Gas Monkey or Misfit Garage, things along those lines. And because right now we're stuck in the house, so we've watched movies and TV, so we will sit and watch and drink and talk. And you hear I said drink because that's what I do, and he does now too, where we are spending quality time together, and there's conversations going on in this quality time as well too. Now, when things are normal, meaning not in quarantine, we will still get out and do things together, and you still need that time, quality time together. I value every minute that we have and that we can share together, because I'm big on that. I'm big on spending quality time together, because that's our time to laugh, joke, be ourselves. Derek and I laugh at ourselves more than we laugh at probably anyone else. And I've said that before too, is you need to be able to look at yourselves and laugh at yourselves and not take everything so seriously until it's time to take things seriously. Quality time is definitely needed, whatever your definition of quality time is. And it doesn't always have to be physical. It's just being in the moment, being present with each other, and, you know, holding each other, or someone's legs and feet on each other, and you're just laughing and talking. That's quality time. And it's also, do I dare say, being intimate with each other as well too. You know each other pretty well, but it's the little things that I think fall by the wayside that we tend to forget. The communicating and the quality time, which are 2 of the 7. Those are probably really, really big items that I think a lot of us couples, relationships, marriages, we get away from, because everyone is stuck doing what they're doing, if they're working and this and that, and then not talking about, you know, what they're doing, or bringing it all together to have those interesting conversations. Just my thought. So let me finish up, and I'm going to wrap this up. Okay, so I finished up my look, and let's wrap this up as it relates to what women expect from men. I'm going to say we don't expect the world, because we're not going to get that. But we can also set realistic expectations on what we expect from men. We want them to provide a sense of safety, honesty, trust, carry himself well, make us feel important, not just to them, but to their family and their friends, communicate effectively. And my top 2, well, quality time and maturity and communication are actually my top 3. And you can set the expectation up front in the relationship and hold everyone involved, you and him or whomever, accountable to those expectations. Because the moment they start slipping and falling by the wayside, you get into a rut, and your level of expectation goes downhill. And there's nothing wrong with setting expectations for the relationship that you are in or about to enter with someone that you care about, love, and hope to marry someday. And that's why I say set realistic expectations, and be realistic, and don't expect the world, as I said, but set those expectations, carry them out, and when things start going south, call them on the bullshit, and call yourself on it too, because it takes 2 to tango. And I think you'll be okay from that point. And as I've said early on an earlier Martini Monday, is we women set the tone and the expectations for the relationship, and men will follow our lead. They absolutely will follow our lead. And the moment we divvy away from that, they get comfortable, they get relaxed, and feel that they no longer have to live up to those expectations. They still have to live up to those expectations. I still hold my husband accountable to live up to those expectations. Just because we're married doesn't mean that he can, or I'm not expecting him to live up to these top 7 things that I expect him to hold. And I hold up my end as well too. That's what I got for today. Next week, we're going to talk about one that a girlfriend and I talked about this week. Is she asked me this: How do you know he's the one, or how do you know she's the one? So many factors involved in that one. I'm going to I already have some thoughts. I'm going to, put some notes down on paper. That's a good one. And yeah, that's a good one. We'll discuss that one next week. But let me know what you guys think. What are your expectations for your significant other spouse as relates to your relationship, your marriage? And are you holding them to those expectations? Are you holding yourself to those expectations? Let me know in the comment section below. And until next week, your girl, TeeTee, and another really good conversation on relationships on Martini Monday is out.